shocked.
I was shocked to my core. And she said to him, like, I trusted you.
Yes.
Like, we're a team. All of her friends turn around and tell her, you need to be a better wife to your husband. Welcome to Sunday Lunch, Reality Served, where we discuss reality TV, pop culture, and what distracted us this week. Hello, Jessie.
Hello, Sophie. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you today?
I am so good. We're recording a bit earlier than usual. We kicked off at like 9 a.m., which, you know, that's tough for tired people like me, but I'm here and I'm excited.
Yes, me too. And we just, even before, like we're coming in hot today, because even before we officially were recording, we just had a huge discussion on the Ariana Grande of it all, and that might just need to be a little side dish episode. We'll see how we go. We were just chatting away and recording. But what we're going to get into today is, again, the reality TV gods have rained down upon us. There is so much to discuss. We're going to chat the first episode of the Valley reunion, which did not disappoint. Then we're going to talk about the House of Stassi after they just dropped a whole season on us on Disney. It just felt like it came out of nowhere, and it has generated, you know, a lot of discussion. So we will be having a chat on that, and then moving on to the Real Housewives of OC. And then we're actually going to play a fun little game. So when we talk about our distractions this week, I don't even know why. I came up with this game, Jessie. You're going to play it. I haven't told you about it yet. And then we're going to share our recommendations.
Perfect. I'm very curious about this game, but I'm up for it. Now, before we get into all of that, what do we have in our cups today? What do you have?
So today, this is a little ode to Emmy Lou. My little one has been away on camp all week, and I miss her. And instead of my Lady Grey, I'm having an English breakfast because she's constantly trying to convert me to English breakfast. When I ask her to make me a cup of tea, she makes it and then she even rips this off and says, did you enjoy that? I'm like, oh, it's very good. She see, it's English breakfast. So anyway.
I'm like, you're too young to be a Lady Grey.
Yes. So, and I am missing her. So that is why I'm drinking my English breakfast. What's in your cup today, Jessie?
She's very young to be away at camp all week.
All week.
My is iced coffee. Sorry, very boring. I actually bought, and I ran out of time this morning because we're filming earlier than usual and I have terrible punctuality. But I was going to make myself this beautiful hot cup of orange cinnamon herbal tea, which I love. Like I bought it especially, but then I ran out of time. So I'll probably have that next week. I love my herbal teas, and there's so many good ones. You can get vanilla ones, orange ones, lemon, ginger. You can get pomegranate ones. Like, it's actually amazing, the world of tea, but I am not ready to become a tea person. So, you know, I have to take myself through a journey if I'm going to do that. Like, I feel like if you're a tea person, you have to then buy a teapot and do leaves and get like macrame earrings and like crafty things. And it's not me. It's not me right now. Maybe in the future.
No, I've not made it. I've not made it to that level of tea lady yet either. Okie dokie. Let's have a chat about the Valley reunion. What stood out? So I've been like thinking a lot about one particular thing. And even to the fact that last night I was on Reddit and my husband was sitting behind me. We were watching House of the Dragon. He's like, are you on Reddit right now? I was like, yes, I am trying to research as much as I can about this particular person because I'm trying to decide my feelings.
I think I know what you're talking about. And if it's the same, I feel like maybe.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Battle. It's Lacey. You're thinking about Lacey.
Yes! How did you know?
Because it's really tricky. And I've been trying to figure out how to discuss her conversation with Michelle and the emotion on both sides, and then Jessie sitting there. Hey, I knew it would be the Michelle and Lacey thing. And if you're on Reddit looking for opinions on Lacey, you're going to get an Americanized maybe look at her. I'm so torn as well, but I want you to talk me through your thoughts because we'll probably line up and then deviate at certain points.
Okay, so, I mean, if we want to just say what was the premise of the sort of first episode of the reunion, I think they covered three main things, which was the Brittany and Zack relationship, the Kristen and Brittany breakdown, and then I feel as though a lot of the discussion was really around Michelle, Jessie, and Lacey. And so I know that you and I, as we've been sort of recapping this season, have been really impressed with Michelle. We said, she was quite cold the first couple of seasons, and we feel really like we've gotten to know her. She sort of opened up, definitely a lot warmer. And then we were also really positive about her relationship with Lacey. We thought that, despite Jesse himself, the two of them had been communicating, quite constructively, which is important when there's little children involved. And so I came into this episode not at all expecting the level of sort of tension and animosity between Lacey and Michelle. And then I felt very confused because I was like, do I need to pick a side here? Do I not need to pick a side here? And then what happened is in it, at some point, somebody said that Lala had been coaching Michelle and that Michelle had been acting this whole season. And then I just went, because she's had a huge personality change this season. And I was like, oh my gosh, was Michelle playing a character? And then I thought, no, hang on, like what? And so then I was thinking about Lacey and I was like, Lacey seems so level-headed, right? And so I was like, she seems level-headed. She seems very pro-women. She seems really constructive, even though she's having sort of tension and conflict with Michelle. She's not taking digs. And then I thought, okay, she seems level-headed, but she's dating Jesse.
Yeah.
So that says something. But then I was like, but then Michelle married Jesse. And so then that's what sent me down the Reddit rabbit hole. I'm like, who are you, Lacey, really? Like what, are you on here playing a character? And so really, so that is where my tension came because I think the two of them just have a lot of friction and I'm trying to understand, is somebody more in the right or the wrong here? So that's kind of where I'm at. What about you?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean because in the reunion, they sort of very quickly went into pitching Michelle and Lacey against each other and it ended up in this big argument and they were referring to things, both Michelle and Lacey, from the previous year or when they'd first met. Lacey was sort of explaining her last 2 years with Michelle and that it hasn't always been as calm and constructive as it looked like on camera. Michelle was denying those things, but really I think quite a few of them are true. I want to take it back to the episode before the reunion because the Jesse of it all can't be excluded from this conversation. He confuses me. Because on the one hand, he's great friends with Zack and he's obviously a really good friend to the people he cares about. But to Michelle, he's always trying to win a point. But part of it is sometimes I agree with those points, but I don't like that he tries to denigrate her on camera. So if we take it to the episode before the reunion, and I promise everyone this will all link up, we are at Brittany's Halloween party in the final episode, which by the way looked so fun. Brittany, I'm sorry, I know that there's so many things about her I would not like, but her parties look like so much fun and she's so generous with them. Like she puts on everything. She makes it look amazing. Even back in season 1 when she did Janet's corn dog festival birthday party, that looked like heaps of fun. So
I love that you're acknowledging that, by the way, because yes, there's plenty of things you can say about Brittany, but I love that Southern community aspect that she brings to the show where she does want to bring everyone together. She is generous with it. And as someone who, loves to throw a themed party, I mean, I was crafting this week in preparation for my Christmas party this year, right? Yeah. So I get it. And I think she did a phenomenal job. All of it was top tier.
On point. The food looked amazing. The bars, everyone's costumes were great. The theme was amazing. I thought it looked like so much fun. I was like, I would want to be at that party. And again, my best friend Brooke does the same thing. She loves to entertain, puts on big parties, but it's a lot of work and a lot of money. So that doesn't...
And a lot of money, yes.
Yeah, and effort. So that was great. But what upset me was that Jesse came to have a moment on camera with Michelle where he had a go at her for saying she was going on a date with a comedian and that Isabella had already met the comedian through her work. And I was like, I feel uncomfortable with this. This is a conversation that I don't think he should have brought on camera because he's trying to make her look like a bad mum. Now, hold that feeling, cut to the reunion. He's now with this girl who is very level-headed, Lacey. She seems like she's got it all together, but she is now his foot soldier. And what I didn't like, and maybe I'm getting to the heart of this, is that this reunion pitted Lacey and Michelle against each other and had Lacey doing all the talking because she's extremely articulate. But these are problems between Jesse and Michelle. And I didn't like seeing the two women go at it. And I didn't like that Michelle was playing fast and loose with some of the truth. And I think it's because her emotions, I get it. You don't always remember the things that you've said and done. And she was saying Lacey has said these, has yelled at me, has threatened to sue me, has threatened to do these things. And Lacey's like, never yelled at you, never threatened to sue you, sent you a cease and desist. But to Michelle, it would have felt like she was doing those things because Michelle has been the one that has been attacked by Jesse for 3 seasons. Let's be real. He has. He's had a few moments where she's been vulnerable and he's let it ride but he's never actually been a good partner to her in this divorce. And so while I like Lacey and while I think Michelle got some things wrong and the rest of the cast has seen it, there are receipts. We know that Michelle's gotten fired up and sent things to Lacey she shouldn't have. And yes, I do think Lala is trying to coach Michelle, not in a nefarious way, but as in you could see the reunion. Lala was saying to Michelle, don't react, just ignore him, And I'm sure she said to her during the season, show more of your vulnerability, open up your audience. That to me, that's not coaching or being performative. That's just saying
advice.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Friendship advice when you're both on reality show. So I think I'm not okay with Jesse and Lacey teaming up against Michelle. I think that's where
I feel as though I don't like that, but I don't think they have a choice in the sense that Michelle is making her problem Lacey rather than making it. And so this is like the age old, right? So it's like the two women, instead of looking at the person that's the actual problem here, because a lot of their problems would have initiated because Jesse would have been saying one thing to one and one thing to the other. So, Michelle's saying, you introduced her too soon to our daughter. And then Lacey's like, well, I was just popping around with a gift basket from a Valentine's party, which Jesse said would be fine. And so it's like the cause of their tension begins with him. Yes. And yet he's got them going at each other. And so that's what I was really pleased with during this season because I knew there'd been some big blow-ups at the end of last season. I thought, you two are smart enough. You figured it out. You've realized that he's the problem and that you two can have an independent relationship, because you are in this weird environment where you have to hang out and film together. So that's sort of what I came in thinking, okay, this is great. But what I've since felt since watching this, I'm like, I actually think Michelle still hates Lacey. Yeah. She still wants to punish her. I think Michelle's telling lies. I'm now thinking that Michelle was actually playing us all season, saying all the right things on camera, and in fact has still been harboring deep resentment towards Lacey. And so that's why I went down the Reddit rabbit hole because I'm like, well, is Lacey tricking us? And so, because if you take it back to that last episode, when Jesse came at her for the comedian thing, same thing. Originally, I was like, oh, come on, Jesse. But then I thought back to the boat trip where she was filming and she said, oh, I'm so giddy. I'm going on this date. And I was so happy with her. But if I think about that with, I guess, without my rose-colored glasses on, who would say publicly filming that they're going on a first date with someone? Not Michelle. She's so closed and private. Why would she have been saying on camera, I'm so excited that I'm going on a first date with this guy? I'm more inclined now to believe Jesse that they'd actually been in a relationship for a period of time. She was just ready to bring it to camera. So then when Jesse turns around and says to her, Isabella's told me she's met him, that's how he found out. I was like, she's like, I was just doing a house showing. We weren't in a relationship yet. I'm like, it doesn't add up to me, Michelle. I think you were dating him. I think that wasn't going to be your first date. I think you did introduce him to Isabella, even if it was at a work meeting. It was enough for her to tell her dad. And so then I looked into Lacey and I really couldn't find anything but positivity. She obviously has a foundation that supports women. She has a podcast, which is about dealing with female trauma and talking about things. It's all very pro-women. So it kind of aligns with her treatment of Michelle, I think, which is, again, she doesn't want to take Michelle down. She could be nasty, but I feel like she's that's not what she's trying to do. She's just trying to make Michelle tell the truth.
This is such an interesting perspective. And I think, yes, I do think Michelle has been tricky with the truth. I do think there's some merit to your idea that maybe she'd been on a few dates with this guy already. I sort of don't have too much of a problem with that if that's the case. I wonder with Lacey, because we know that she wanted to get on the OC as a housewife and she was rejected. We know she's dating Jesse, who is a complete man baby, and it's gotten her onto this show. We know that. And honestly, this is just smart of her in a way. Like, I'm not even having a go at Lacey here, because when she sent the cease and desist to Michelle, I thought that was reasonable. I thought it was reasonable that she didn't want to be on camera without having a contract in place. Like, why should Bravo get access to her if they're not paying her and doing it properly? Like, fuck that. Like, you know, I'm on her side with all of those things. I think it's just smart. I feel like if she didn't want to win points over Michelle, she wouldn't have brought up things from the past. I think if Michelle would have been and Michelle was heightened, emotional, the things Michelle was saying, she could have just said, that's not right. That's not right. And we can go through that separately. Like, I for someone who's so pro-women, the argument did feel like she was calmly taking Michelle down a few pegs, because Lacey is calm, and Lacey doesn't have a whole lot of emotion towards Michelle, whereas Michelle, like you said, has a whole lot of emotion towards Jesse and Lacey, and she's made Lacey the problem in that scenario when it's really Jesse. So for Lacey, I'm looking at her, I'm like, she could do this all day because she's not emotional about it. But
I think she is.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think I know people don't like how she speaks with her monotone, etc. I just think she's measured. I think she has I think Michelle hates her guts and has been making her life hell for a couple of years, and she's sick of it. And so she doesn't want to take Michelle down, but she's like, I'm also not going to let you spread this narrative that, you know, that is untrue. So I will tell the truth. And if you don't like that and that's uncomfortable for you, I know this is your show and I'm here second, but I'm not going to keep putting up with it. Because I just feel like if it's negative against her or Jessie, she'll cop it. But at the same time, she's like, you also have to cop it when you've been crap, which is kind of what she said. Why don't you just tell the truth? Let the truth set you free. And I loved that, because I was like, yes, Michelle, let it set you free. Stop playing a character. It's like, say I was crazy in my divorce. I was distraught. I was sad. I was unhappy. I made choices that I didn't make. Like, we have all done, I have done some crazy things in rage to do with a relationship. Just say it. Right? Yeah. And then be like, yeah, that wasn't my best me. I'm sorry. Let's move forward. But it's like she wants to paint this picture that, like, every step of the way she's been on the right side of history. And like, but I know I'm coming in strong for someone that said at the start, I'm not sure where I stand.
No, I actually agree with you. I agree with you. I think that's true. She doesn't want to admit. And this is probably what happens too when I think you were the narcissist. Like, Jesse has some narcissistic qualities. I'm not saying he's a narcissist. He's selfish, right? And I think she's so used to defending herself. So, like, to you or me, we'd be like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm sorry, Lacey, that was fucked up. We would do that. But I don't think Michelle's in the space where she can admit any mistake because she's scared that Jesse will take it and run with it.
And he would.
Of course he would. But this brings me to something else that I'm really uncomfortable about with Michelle. And I think Jesse has every right to be upset. And even the way Andy Cohen approached it with him, I thought Jesse had the perfect response. So we know that Michelle had that boyfriend who did the honey. He was a honey purveyor from last season or season before. They moved in. Isabella moved in and it broke up and they moved out. Jesse obviously had rules and Michelle had rules about when Isabella could meet new partners. Neither of them, I think, have been very good at holding up that bargain. But now we're in a situation which is so deeply upsetting to me that Michelle is dating a man called Dr. Dre, who is a musician and a rapper. We've all heard of Dr. Dre. He's much older. He has the most scary pattern of abuse against women in particular, but also men. He has, this is a matter of public record. He has beaten women. He has verbally and physically abused women, including women he was dating. His wife alleged like years of verbal and physical abuse against him. He has even said on the public record, yeah, I'm sorry for how I treated some women in my past. You know, like he's not denying it.
No, he's acknowledged it. And the thing that I found scariest was it was as recent as 2024. The lady who was the mediator, I think obviously like a lawyer was the mediator for his divorce, is now suing him for millions of dollars for the abuse she suffered and harassment she suffered during the mediation process. Now that to me, I'm like, you've admitted to these relationship abuse and it's on record and that's terrifying. But then this leads into like, abuse and control of just people in his who aren't doing what he wants when he wants. And that's like takes it to another level, which is just, so scary.
I'm sitting there watching and they're all going, oh, well, you've got this exciting celebrity. And she's like smiling. We're spending time together. No, Michelle. What is with your judgment? And this is, to me, if I was Jessie, I'd be going to court. Like Isabella, I know she's not my child. I know I don't have kids. What are you doing dating a man who is on the record, public record, as being incredibly abusive over many decades to just about every woman he encounters? You have a daughter. Number one, why are you dating him? Number two, you cannot bring your child into that orbit. And when Jessie said to Andy, I didn't even know. And Andy goes, oh, well, you could have asked Isabella. I thought this was spot on. Jessie said, well, I'm not going to ask Isabella because I'm not going to put her in a position of deciding, does she make me happy and protect me, or does she protect her mum and make her mum happy? He's like, I'm not going to ask her that. And I was like, yeah, thank you. Like, Andy, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, that was weird, Andy, and well done, Jessie. And I think there was two ahas through that for me as well, is like one, the honey guy. Yeah. She then said the reason they broke up, like originally she said it was because, she wasn't fit enough. But like the abusive things that he was saying to her about like, you're not going to look like this in 10 years and therefore I don't want to be with you and all this. It's like, wow, this guy was even more of a drop kick than we thought. So your picker is way off. And so now you're with Dr. Dre and that even makes more sense. But the second part, it's just something I'd never considered before is because at first, I thought you were being dramatic, Jessie, but then I really thought about what he said. And he said, I never expected my daughter's first heartbreak to be from a grown man. And it was that, Isabella became so close to Michelle's boyfriend that when that relationship broke up, Isabella was mourning it and she misses him and the relationship that she had. And I just think if that was one of my girls and they had a strong male figure in their life that they lived with, and then had to cut that contact off completely. I'm sure it happens to kids all over the world all of the time. It's just not something I'd really thought about before. And so Michelle's track record is not strong. And so when you said he should be going to court, I hadn't considered that. Yes, he should be. He should be getting something written into a parenting agreement.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think she has proven to be shady in this space.
And like you said, and I know that I guess when you're a real estate agent in America, you can take your kid to showings and things like that. But I do wonder if there's just a level, like Michelle needs to kind of level up in terms of.
Yeah, her professionalism.
Well, yeah, but putting that kid first and not saying, oh, and mum's going on a date with this guy, you met him at the showing. I mean, I don't know. But it's just, her track record isn't good. Her judgment hasn't been good. This child doesn't need to be exposed to any of these men. You can't move in with people on a whim. I don't know if she did do it on a whim. I feel like it's terrible, Judd, and she's a mother and she's doing her best, but like two things can be true at once. Jessie can be a giant man baby that needs to earn a living, but he's right about the parenting choices that she's making and he's right to be worried for his daughter. And the Dr. Dre thing is so beyond the pale to me that it actually makes me angry at Michelle, and I don't even know her. I want her out of there. I'm like, what do you value, Michelle? The fact that you get to go on a private plane or your daughter? Like, come on.
Yeah, and he's like openly dating somebody else as well right now. So hopefully it's broken up. But yeah, and that's, I really hope I'm wrong. But if I feel right now that I was hoodwinked by her this season and nothing's black and white. There's probably, shades of grey. She probably did, open up more than she did previously. And there was probably some of that was genuine. But I am concerned it was, more of a PR stunt to make herself look better and to make Jessie look bad. And while I think Jessie would be a terrible husband, terrible with finances, all of the things, he's vain and vapid and, only lives in the immediate. I actually don't think he's a bad human. I actually think, because I'm like, well, why do these women date him? But I actually think the heart in there is great. And the way he loves his daughter, is beautiful. So
I know I'm going to be circumspect about saying he's a good human, because all of the flaws you just pointed out to me are pretty big flaws. And I'm not going to go as far as to say that, yeah. And I think Michelle has a good heart too. Like, Michelle has flaws as well.
Yes, she does.
I think that's the fair thing to say. They're both very flawed, but I do think they both have good hearts. I do think they both adore their beautiful little girl. I think that I'm hoping over time they achieve the maturity to not be fighting with whoever their partners are at the time. I don't know. I also don't like, sorry, this is so mean. And again, it goes back to the Halloween party that Brittany threw. I don't like Michelle's friend Natalie, and I don't like that she's trying to bring on her friend Natalie to like have a role on the show so that Michelle can be a friend. I'm like, no, sorry, babe. You've got Lala and Janet. That's what you get, right? You don't get to bring on your friend Natalie. Now, she brought her on earlier in the season as like a date for Schwartz, which was so awkward because Schwartz has a girlfriend.
She looked so different on that date as she did in the coffee scene in the lounge room. Like, I'm like, I actually rewound it to see what her name was in the Chiron. I'm like, is that the same lady? Because like she was all like dolled up in the first one, and then she was like hippie mama in the second one. Anyway, but yeah, it was the same lady.
It's the same lady. That's right. She was also in a scene with Michelle talking about Michelle's real estate career, and then she brought her to this, and Jasmine was like, so at the end of this Halloween party, Jesse was upset about Isabella and Michelle and this man that Michelle's dating and not getting the truth. And he spoke to Jasmine about it, who got riled up on Jesse's behalf and came to talk to Janet and Michelle about it. And that conversation was actually going pretty fine. Like, Jasmine was riled up, but both Michelle and Janet were like, look, I know Jesse's gotten you riled up, but actually it's not what's happening. So we'll bring it down a notch. And Jasmine's like, oh, okay, I was just upset because he was upset and his feelings are valid. And then Michelle's friend, Natalie, comes to have a big moment and starts like going for Jasmine. And Jasmine's like, hun, you're not even on this show. Like, you know, that's what was behind it. And Jasmine was like, get out of here. And they start calling each other bitch and it gets crazy. And I'm just like, Michelle, I really like your open side of you this season, but I'm not like you having Natalie as a henchman. I'm not enjoying these weird things that you're dating, and you're coming up with these weird things to Lacey about feeling upset about Jesse and the public affection. Like this, to me, it just doesn't quite add up into what's really going on. And so I think you're right when you say she's not giving us the truth. She's giving us parts. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I like.
Can I just say, like, say that again, sorry?
I like Michelle and I want to see her on next season though.
Same. I like her and I just felt like I was getting to know her. And then I'm like, were you fooling me the whole time? Like, so yeah, she doesn't owe me anything, but it's funny how that conversation with Jasmine and Natalie, because I was so different. I was like, Jasmine, you can go kick rocks, because I was cross because I thought she was just trying to make a moment. I was like, you're coming in defending Jesse. You don't know anything about this. You're obviously drunk. And I thought that they were just trying to I thought that they were de-escalating and Jasmine was trying to have a camera moment at the finale. So anyway, I feel like I now need to go back and rewatch it. But like this, how funny is it that you can watch, two people can watch the same thing and walk away with, because that's when I was like, you know what, Jasmine, I don't know if I need you on the show now, because it's like, again, pardon?
Jasmine, I'm with you. She was totally drunk and having a moment. That's what we need. The vote is boring. I'm so over it. Let Jasmine have her drunken moment defending Jesse wildly so that we can see the fallout of that. What I don't need is Natalie turning up, who I don't like, who I don't know, trying to get that moment away from Jasmine, who I do know and I do like.
You're Vicky Gumbelson. You don't like the new girls. You need them to be, they have to prove themselves.
How dare you? This is so Vicky as well, by the way. I'm so offended by that. No, I actually do really like new cast members, but she's not a new cast member. She's trying to be shoehorned in through the side. Like, I like Lacey, who's a new cast member. She's a new girl. But no, Natalie, I'm not. I just don't vibe with Natalie. I just don't. She's got I don't know. She's not my vibe.
Well, I think thankfully they didn't spend too much time on Danny and Nia at this reunion, so we don't have to talk about it, but I'm sure that'll probably be next week. He needs to sort out his Botox. He's like, looks like an evil little devil man. Like, it's like, I don't know what's going on with his face, but it's not helping. He's like, did you notice his face? Like,
he's got a very pronounced brow.
I understand. I'm not judging you, Jesse. I mean, Danny. It's just, I don't think his Botox is helping.
On the brow lift.
Oh my God, we can do it. No, he's such a whinger. Look at how his last surgery went. I'm not doing a 2-for-1 facelift with you, even if you beg me, Danny. Okay, should we move on to House of Stassi or?
I wanted to say one more thing. I know because we got caught up with Michelle and Lacey, but I actually am so fascinated by the Brittany and Zack situation because number one, I love that Brittany is up there. She's always first chair because this technically is her show. And when Zack said something like, you didn't have my back, because like Zack and Brittany are fighting, but for reasons that haven't been clear on camera, actually. We know that he's siding with Kristen and he's kind of been defending Danny and Nia. I don't know what he's getting out of that. He's very close with Jesse and I know Jesse is on that side. So maybe it's just an alliance thing. But why would he not ally with Brittany, who's his closest friend in the world? And when Andy was trying to unpack why they're not on the same page and Zack said, you haven't had my back. And Brittany just did this full Southern, I have had your back through and through. I was like, Brittany, I am sat for you. That was so matriarchal. It was powerful. I was like, oh, yeah,
we had been so sick of Brittany, and then all of a sudden she throws this great Halloween party and shows up at the reunion. We're like, we're back, baby. And and same. And I actually loved when she said, he's my brother. He's my brother. I don't know but we've been for 17 years or however long we've been friends. We're going to fight. And I loved that because I thought before she had a go at him, she said that, which is like, just know, Zack, I love you. I'm always going to love you. We're family. Yeah. And that's why we can fight like this. But I agree. I think he's cross with her about something that he hasn't articulated to her. And she is looking for answers.
Yeah.
And he needs, whatever it is, he's got to be in his bonnet and he needs to let her know what it is so that she can address it. Because I do feel like he's almost corralling people to be against her, even subconsciously. And she could feel it this season. She's like, why am I on the outs? And she just doesn't know why. And she's not perfect. She's done it time and time again where she's not chosen a side with the friends and but then again, she's just trying to be the mediator and keep everyone together. So anyway.
Well, she does make a lot of shit about herself, but in fairness, it's her show. And look, I think you're right. I think my armchair reading of this is that Zack has always been her sidekick. But through this show, he's become popular because
he's become his own main character.
And he's becoming his own main character, which necessarily means he has to get out from under her wing. And I think he said, or maybe I'm making this up, but I thought he might have said somewhere along the line, there's been things where maybe he would have liked to disagree or things that she's done that have upset him, but he's never said anything because they're friends. But now it's starting to come out more.
Okay.
And it could be something like that, but I agree with you that he just needs to articulate it to her and they need to get back on the same page.
They're a great duo when they're a duo.
Yeah. So, I was like, Brittany, yes, be the mother that we all know you can be because she's fantastic with Cruz. I think she's matured so much through that process of mothering him and learning how to help him with his diagnoses. It's been, we've said it before, amazing to see. And I just feel like she really came up at the reunion. I'm interested to see how she fares for the rest of the episode. So it'll be...
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And also the Jacks of it, I hope they don't let him back on the show because of this Laurie K BS. I think they're trying to... Anyway, and he's horrible the more that you're hearing about what he's saying to her, the way he's been treating her continuously. He's learnt nothing. Don't give him a platform. But what I just think is so hilarious is this is all still ricochets from Vanderpump Rules, right? So we're talking about The Valley, which was the spinoff from Vanderpump, and now we're going to be talking about Stassi, House of Stassi, which is another Vanderpump spinoff, but, so different. The Valley versus House of Stassi. And it's so funny because they said to her, would you like to be on The Valley? And she's just like, it's not my aesthetic. I was never going to land there. And I was spot on because I don't know what it is. I remember I haven't watched Kardashians for years and years and years, but when they switched from Keeping Up to the Kardashians and they went to Disney and just had Kardashians, I remember watching the first episode. I sort of tuned in and the production, it was I could see them all three clearly, and the 3D seemed, I was like, what is this? What is this? And then I hadn't watched Disney for ages, and then I went to watch the House of Stassi, and just the production value, are they filming with different it just looks amazing. Do you think?
Yeah, it's very stylistically different. So whereas The Valley is like your classic reality show where they're just following people doing whatever, there's not a lot of glamour in it either. It's pretty dark, but it's very relatable in lots of ways, The Valley. Whereas House of Stassi is stylistically a step up. It's probably high definition, I don't know, widescreen cameras. I don't know what they call them, but they're using good stuff. Like she even mentions in the first episode, we've got a smoke machine back there.
Yeah, she's like, we have a fog machine. I was like,
fog machine. What's interesting to me is that you can dress it up or dress it down, but the same darkness in the relationships, the same struggle from being a reality star your whole life and not knowing any different and trying to marry that up with family and children. And it's messed up. It might look beautiful, and she's in a really gorgeous character-filled house that's not in the Valley, and which I love the aesthetic of. It's perfect for her. But my God, there's so much to unpack here. So where do we even begin, Sophie? I'm going to need your help.
I know, because there is so much to unpack. And so, like, anyone who follows us on socials will see, like, I was just like vomiting Stassi content because I just couldn't contain it, how much I had to say about it all. You know, there's the obvious pieces. I'm keen to talk about the lack of fourth wall. I love that. Some people hate it. I loved it. She's like, as a good producer, I'd be doing this, that, and the other. And I want to talk about that all. But the one thing I kept noticing, and it really stood out to me at by the time we got to the Thanksgiving episode, that long sort of table dinner, I just went, I have not basically seen a person of colour in this first 4 episodes. At all. And her cancellation, which she kept referring to as a cancellation and didn't really discuss it, was around her treatment of one of her Black cast members on Vanderpump Rules. She did the wrong thing. She made a mistake, but she says she's grown from it, which I would have believed her if she had talked to it. Yeah. But she just keeps referring to it as the cancellation. And the final episode, she brings in 2 Black girls that she made friends with on a TV show who weren't there for the rest of the season, weren't cast as cast members, but are apparently her friends. I have not seen a less diverse cast in the longest time. I don't even know how you can live in America, in LA and California, and not have a diversity of friends. And so I'm like, it just pisses me off because I want to love this show. I did love this show. I was fascinated by it, but I'm like, how? So that was just the first thing I feel like I have to bring up before we talk about anything else.
Well, let's start there. I agree with you. And to your point that how do you live in America and not have a diverse group of friends? It's a choice. It's an active choice. It has to be. So,
or is it an unconscious choice? Because this is the thing, like she said, like, I'm willing to learn and grow and we all did dumb things and blah, blah, blah. I don't know that it's a conscious choice. I don't think she's like, I'm going to not have diverse friends. I think she just only likes people who are like her.
Well, that could be true too, but that's sort of the flip side of the same coin. If she's not, open to having a life where she is exposed to people that are not exactly like herself. I mean, you've got to remember too, she's from the South as well. So you've got Brittany from the South, Stassi's from the South. There are exceptionally poor race relation problems in the South that are, culturally different to how it is in the north of America. Yeah, it's odd. It's odd. And I think and sorry to go back to the Valley and to Jasmine, but you even see it in the Valley where Jasmine gets shut down all the time.
Constantly, I know. And that's why I feel bad saying I don't want her there, because there is such a lack of diversity on the Valley as well. And not, she's a woman, she's Black and she's gay. Like she's got every card that says, don't listen to me, I don't matter. So I was thinking about that as I said what I said earlier too. And
I know, but you were saying that in response to anyway, but it to me, it's just, I don't know, it's really upsetting to me. And it's one of the reasons I can't get fully on board with Janet is that she's made this thing from what happened to women of color and queerness. She made it her storyline and all about her. And I just can't get on board with that. There's something so dismissive about that. But back to Stassi. Yeah, I actually do think it's a choice. I think it's a choice. I think sometimes it's who you're surrounded by. When I lived in Bathurst, part of the reason Charlie and I moved is because it was very white and the attitudes were very white. And when the no vote happened, it was like 97% no in our area. And we were just like, well, is this us? is this what we're choosing to live in? Because it's not right and we don't want that. And so we've moved and, you know, hopefully that will change things a little bit. But yeah, it's an interesting one. The fourth wall stuff, I didn't mind a little bit of it, but I found it too much. And this goes back to a conversation you and I had right at the start where you like knowing all the fourth wall stuff and I don't want to know. I just want to pretend that it's all real and we can break it down later. I find it too on the nose because when she was saying things like, now, when we call a dinner party, it's like calling a team meeting to get things out on the table. I was like, I don't need to know that. I just want to know that you guys are catching up for dinner and you're going to have a fight.
Yes. And see, I did not get, because I mean, you know, I am loving it because I always think, why do you guys have these dinner parties? You know, it's all going to go like to shit. Like, just don't have them. But then when she explained it, she's like, everybody's off having these separate conversations. They're not saying it to each other. Yeah. And like in a production of a show, there needs to be a point where all these separate conversations come together. So this is like calling a team meeting and we're like, put it out on the table so that we can find some level of alignment and we can move forward. And I was like, that makes sense to me because when they have fights at dinner parties, I find it upsetting. I'm like, don't do that. You're at a dinner party. And yeah, I always get upset about it. I'm like, someone's gone to the effort to set the table, cook the food. You're not appreciating the whatever. And now I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, you all know that this is what this is for. And because I'm always really hopeful, particularly on Real Housewives of Cheshire, they have the worst dinner parties, like the worst. And every time they're kind of terrified to go to them. And I'm like, can't you all just keep it together for one? But then I realized like that's actually what they have to do. So I loved that. But I will say that makes sense because we did, like I didn't get the aha, which is like, you just want to watch it. Whereas I want to direct it, be in it, understand it. And so that makes sense. I think I just want to go back to the Stassi thing for 1 second, which is I had hoped that the way she comes across is like an intelligent takeoff of herself. I've always felt that she's highly aware, smart, kinder than she makes out to be, but is sort of putting on this character like hyperbole, like you say, because it is a bit funny. And so that is why I like sort of loved the start of the show and going into it. But then when I saw like the lack of diversity, etc., I'm like, am I giving you too much credit? Are you just actually a spoiled, privileged, woman who gets whatever she wants and is rewarded for poor behavior? Like, and you're not actually sorry for what you did and you haven't learned and grown? Because I'm like, that will be disappointing to me. I don't have a answer on that yet, but I just want to say, like, I don't come into it thinking, Stassi, you're a bad person. I think she is playing up for entertainment.
I think she definitely plays up for entertainment, but I will also say it was so uncomfortable the way they shoehorned those two women of colour from Vanderpump Villa in at the end, and they still didn't even really talk about it. She still hasn't said,
she didn't talk about it.
I did this. And she doesn't even have to say the name of the person, Faith. She could just say, I did this to a person of colour. This is the reason I did it. I didn't think I was doing it for this reason at the time, but I've since realised that actually that played into it and that was a part of me that I'm deeply disappointed in, and I have worked so hard to change that. Why weren't these lovely girls, why the Vanderpump Villa girls, why weren't they part of the whole thing? Why are they not part of main cast? And it goes back, America is still very segregated in that way, and they're still, not that Australia's doing much better, but I don't know that she has grown and learned, and so this is interesting to me because I get torn by Stassi all the time. She is pretty, she is well-spoken, she does the hyperbole. I like the hyperbole. I think it's exaggerated to make a point and it's being silly as well. And then there's times where I see her have what I think is a genuine reaction to something. And I want to use a specific example because I'm desperate to know what you thought. So guys, one of the big issues arriving from Vanderpump Villa, which I didn't watch, but they kind of catch you up on House of Stassi, is that Beau met his adult half-sister, Georgia, and they got tattoos of each other's names, and it upset Stassi because, yeah, that is a bit weird. But Beau has a lot of tattoos, so for Beau it probably wasn't weird. But when Stassi said, I'd like you to do my name then, I'm the wife, I should be number one, and he kept saying no, this sort of kicked off this issue around tattoos. Cut to one of the later episodes in House of Stassi where he got her name tattooed and had like a cute little shoe that obviously meant something to her and was a very Stassi-coded design and whatever. And he walked up and he was like talking to someone and kind of waving his arm around, waiting for her to notice. And I watched this twice. I watched her eyes. She wasn't really listening to him. And then she clocked it and she saw it and she grabbed his arm. And then I thought she was going to cry. She looked like a little puppy. All of a sudden she looked, oh my God, he does love me. I'm so touched. Oh my God, maybe everything's going to be okay. That's how I saw her. And in that moment, I was like, she's so vulnerable to him and she's trying to keep it all together. She's trying so hard to keep it all together and make it good. And he finally did this thing for her and it just cut her to the core. She just started pashing him, which was hilarious because she never touches him. But was she acting? Am I being sucked in by her?
No, Jessie, I think that's real. And I think like this is the whole point. She can be, uneducated around diversity, inclusion, all of those sorts of things. Doesn't mean she's not a real human with real feelings. I was so happy in that moment. I took like 85 screenshots just trying to get the most emotion in her eyes for one of the screenshots because same thing. She like didn't know whether to cry, whether to smile. And she's like, you do love me. And it's like, of course, she just needs that level of reassurance. And it's the same thing about him going back to work. Like, I feel like everyone's missing the point here. It's like she grew up, like, look at her mum. Look at her relationships with her siblings. It is horrifying. Yeah. And she is still reeling from that. And she's like, all I want to do is give my kids the upbringing that I didn't get. And she's like, the only way I know how to do that is I will make like a ton of money and I'll make sure that my marriage sticks together and will provide this safety for them. She feels insecure about her own mothering, which maybe I'm too generous with, but I'm the same. My biggest thing is am I a good mum? Because there's mums that are so natural with it. They want to craft with their kids and they love it and they whatever. And I'm like, I don't like to play. I need my kid to be 7+ and having a discussion with me on whatever. I'm not into playing and I'm into sleeping, staying up all night watching the baby sleep, not me. Anyway, so there's different types of mums, but if the type of mum that I am, I'm constantly I'm not great at this. And so when we got to a point recently where we're there was some stuff going on with our girls and we realized one of us should stay home. I remember saying to my husband, I was like, you should stay home. You are better at this. And he enjoys it too. And I was like, I would love to, but he made a lot more money than me. So we just went, it doesn't make any sense for him to stay home. It makes sense for me to stay home. I'm constantly paranoid. And I think people are it's just because she's problematic in some ways doesn't mean she's problematic in all ways. And It wasn't about Beau going back to work. It was about her fear that her kids wouldn't have everything that they needed if they have less access to him because of her own dislike or whatever of her own mothering, which is, I know she doesn't want to do therapy, but I'm like, Stassi, you need to do some therapy about this specifically because I think she's got untrue beliefs about herself. I bet she's an amazing mum. She's just comparing herself to one particular mum archetype that she isn't. And it's you don't have to be that mum archetype to be a good mum. You can do all of these other things. And so I genuinely feel inside that was a real reaction around the tattoo. I think she is insecure about certain things despite being so confident about other things. And it was special for us to see. But again, I don't think I'm in the majority with that opinion.
No. Well, I don't know. It's so interesting because I agree with you. So I guess the through line for this series, guys, if you haven't watched it, go and binge it. The through line is that she's working so hard to overcome her cancellation, which she rightly was cancelled for. So, and Beau, now to put this into context, Beau is the stay-at-home parent. When she met Beau, in case people don't know this, he had already filed for bankruptcy twice before he was 40. Beau is not, I'm just going to put it out there, you're not good with money, Beau, and you're not good with
money, Beau.
You're not good with whatever it was you were doing, casting, I don't know, but to be bankrupt twice is crazy. So to me, the subtext of their relationship is they got together, they love each other, she adores him, and she said, don't worry, I'll be the breadwinner. We'll have a family. He's a bit older than her, quite a bit older. They wanted kids. They had that agreement. Then she got cancelled while they were pregnant, getting married, which was probably the worst timing ever. But she had a podcast. She kept going with it. She was still earning the money. Great home. He's being stay-at-home parent. Cut to now, House of Stassi finally getting off the ground. He made his storyline the fact that he's a very unsatisfied stay-at-home parent, which I get. Women of eons have been saying this for eons. However, as you just said, Sophie, you would have preferred Sean to be the one at home, but it made sense for the family because he earns more money at this time in his life. So for now, it makes sense that you are the stay-at-home parent, even though you feel like maybe there would have been other ways. For them, it makes total sense that Beau is the stay-at-home parent because she's earning the money. And this whole argument kind of carries through the whole season while she's producing this show and getting excited that she's back on her game. He's being like miserable Sally over here, which I totally get. Like, I understand if you want to do something more than being a stay-at-home parent. I would be a shocking stay-at-home parent. But you've made an agreement, and yes, you can always revisit the terms of that agreement, but you can't do it by going around and bitching to all your friends and crying to them and having them come to Stassi at the end. So we get to the end of this series. There's a big blow up at the dinner party, and what happens is they're all saying, you've got to support Beau more. You've got to like let Beau go to work. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And I'm looking at Stassi and you can see her brain ticking where she's like, I have done everything for this man. I have done everything for this family. I've birthed the children. I've made the money. I've kept our shit together. This guy's been bankrupt fucking twice. And now I'm meant to give up everything for him. And then on top of that, you can see the cogs turning her head where she's trying to grapple with the emotions of all of this. And then he says something to her about, you wouldn't be able to get our kids bathed and put to bed. And she loses it. And I felt that I'm not a parent and I felt her. So when listening to you talk about your reaction and you felt that it was real, I'm actually pleased to hear it because if she was acting, I couldn't tell. She was saying, guys, and she's beseeching, like she's looking at her girlfriends going, my kids are hard. They're so hard. I know I should be better, but they're so hard. And she just cries from the depths of her being and says to him, get away. If you want to leave, leave. I never want to see you again, which is something that you say and do when you are so hurt and so overwhelmed and you have no way of solving it, because how she's been solving it up to now, she's just been told doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked.
I was shocked to my core. And she said to him, like, I trusted you.
Yes.
Like, we're a team. And like, that's again, like my husband and I, it's like, we are a team first. And I trusted you. And I could see it just cottoning onto her because one friend said something, then one friend said, and as it started to happen, and she was like, no, wait, what? And to see all of her friends turn around and tell her, you need to be a better wife to your husband. He is the victim here. And it's like he had played the victim the entire season, like you say, to everybody else. It's like, Beau, you feel like a 1950s housewife. Like, this is millions of women around the world do it every day. And yes, for some women, it's deeply fulfilling. And then for some, it isn't. And for those that it isn't, you find creative ways to be fulfilled, right? So you might, join a book club. You might start a side hustle. You might do a whole range of things. I've been in this position so many times. I became a yoga teacher. I opened a yoga studio. I created a sub business. I did things that I could do around my kids for a period of time so that I felt mentally stimulated and fulfilled, whilst I was also like physically and tangibly there for my kids who I love, but it's just not the archetype. And he has a full-time nanny. And like she said, he went to watch a cinema movie in the middle of the day and all these sorts of things. And it's like, just even him going back to work, like he could have said to her, like, I want to go back to work. It's going to fulfill me, but trust me, I'm going to do it in a way that doesn't impact like your hours of work. I know you're in it, but he didn't. He just went around and made himself the victim. And then at this exact dinner party, to turn around and say that fear, like her biggest fear, and that is that she's not a great mum, and to play into that in front of everyone when, again, even this show, they would have said to each other, like, it's you and me first. We'll trust each other, whatever comes of it. And the way that, and people like, I'm scared for their marriage. One of my first notes at the start is like, I'm scared for their marriage, but I think they'll make it because she is so invested in providing that nuclear family for her kids that they will work through it. But I'm very confused as to why he's done this to her this season.
Me too. And that's why I'm like, is it real? Or did they say, let's have a marriage storyline?
Like, I think they probably agreed to have a marriage storyline, like a little bit, like, Beau's not that fulfilled being a stay-at-home dad, but, Stassi's the breadwinner and that's how it is. Like my family could have that storyline without it getting to the point where you deeply betray each other and blindside each other at a culmination event like that.
Which is so the dark side of reality TV. And that's why I said you can change the stylistic nature of it. You can be in a nicer house. You can be in a better part of LA, but it's a very dark heart that is the trade-off between putting your family on show for the world to see.
Other thing I'll say about that dinner party is that I don't hold her friends as accountable. I feel as though her friends thought, because she said to them, and this is sort of behind the scenes, she had said to them, whilst I'm probably your boss, of a lot of you, while we're filming for 8 weeks, we're not, right? I'm not going to try and check in on your storylines, whatever. We're just going to make this great show. So I feel as though her friends thought, like, this is going to give this amazing ending with a lot of drama, and she's going to forgive us and understand us when she sees it. But what it is a group of people. Like, Katie doesn't have kids. The ladies are pregnant but don't have kids. I mean, Christina Kelly should know better. But I'm like, to sit there from a bunch of women and friends telling you that you are a terrible wife and need to do better. None of them really understand the realities of her life. The one person that does is Beau. And whilst he wasn't in on it, he didn't know it was going to be like a takedown in that episode. He jumped on board because he just enjoys being a victim. Yeah. And so that was because I don't dislike him either. I think they can make it work, but I was deeply, deeply disappointed in how he showed up.
Same. It was shocking to me that he jumped on board and then took it to a private level that like just destroyed, like the trust is gone. And also, like, I think when she watches it back and sees all this bullshit he's been going on, it's just like, mate, sorry. Like, I'm sorry. What are you not getting out of this? Like, and by the time they'd had that big blow up on the boat, he was back at work 3 days a week or something anyway.
Yeah, and still complaining. And by the way, I know that maybe he doesn't want to tell her things because he feels a bit scared. I also worry that, like, I've had that conversation with my husband too. I'm like, are my reactions so big that you are scared to tell me things? Because if that's the case, I can work on that. I need you to be able to talk to me. And it's like, he needs to be man enough to, like, he's going around like, I'm too scared. I can't tell her how I really feel. Like, man up and have that conversation with her and say, I don't tell you things because I'm worried about your reaction. And if you want me to, like, I lost my mind because you know how I feel about Christmas. The tree. I had to pause it. I was so angry because that is a moment. She's got her kids around. It's the tree. She's got her friends around. They're decorating. It is such a pivotal point of every year. And for him to be such a weak willy that he waits till everyone's around for him to be like, I'm leaving in 15 minutes. And, like, you could see her, right? She goes, I might have seen Cool, Calm, Collected everyone, but I was just holding it together for the kids. I'm like, you did very well holding it together for the kids, but I could see your rage.
And of course.
And then he's like, well, I was too scared to let her know. That's kind of on her. No, buddy, that's on you. Yes, I felt like, he's victimized himself.
Yes, I agree. And I think, Beau, you signed up for something because you loved this strong woman. You loved the fact that she could earn the money because, sorry, you're completely financially useless. Like, I'm not being a bitch. He's been bankrupt twice. He's never earned much money. He has benefited so much from his relationship with her. And I'm not saying that he doesn't love her. He does. But to then victimize yourself over and over when you could just talk to her about it. And I agree, this whole idea that a wife is so scary and her reactions are going to be so scary. She's not violent. She's not verbally abusive. He's just avoiding a little conflict. I get that. Most people want to avoid conflict, but in a marriage, you actually have to speak openly. Otherwise, the problem is that he does the thing like 15 minutes notice that he's leaving the house instead of doing the tree, which gives you the big reaction. So for someone like you and me, right, we're like the ones with the nice husbands that are a little bit quieter. And I often say to Charlie too, I'm like, do you feel like you can come and tell me anything? And he's like, yes. And I was like, great. Because I never want to be that person where people go, oh, I'm scared to tell you. And I'm like, well, now I'm angry because you've made a decision about who I am and what my reaction will be. And you don't know that would have been the case. Like, even like silly things like Greg and Brooke, we all went away. I had to go and do a writing festival appearance, which was great. We had a great time and they came with me. And honestly, without them, I couldn't have got to where I needed to go. So we all had a wonderful time. But in the morning, I had to get up and go and do a class. And we all wanted to go to breakfast early. And I woke up like early and like I opened my door and they both giggled. And I was like, what? And they're like, oh, we were just debating who would go in and wake you up because we were scared. And I was like, ha ha ha, like that's all very cute and stuff. But like, I'm not going to get angry at someone for waking me up. And I'm like, what is this thing where people think you're scary if you're just honest with them? I don't really get it. And like, Beau, you would never survive Sunday lunch at the Mansour-Nahra house. Oh, you would die. You would.
Maybe it's all back to Sunday lunch too. Because yeah, I hate it when people like feel scared of me. And because I'm like, I also don't think that my reactions are oversized. I just feel as though I'm honest. But at the same time, if you tell me that felt oversized and that made me feel X, then I would absolutely adjust my behavior. And so, and again, I'm not saying she's perfect. She probably has had oversized and frustrated things, especially if it's happened time and time again. So yeah, I mean, I know I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the format, the breaking of the fourth wall. I thought the production was incredible. All of it. I think she's deeply flawed still. Yeah. I think she needs to do some work. She needs to do some therapy around, I think she seems quite like evolved and self-actualized in some ways. And I'm like, well, how did you get that? And then there's other parts where she's really quite blind to her own, she can't see what she can't see. And so I think around how she feels about herself, about how she shows up, broadly in the community and the world. I think all of that, I think she's flawed and she needs to do better. But I still find her compelling to watch.
Same. I mean, she's got all those beautiful Southern Gothic traditions of having
all that.
A messed up relationship with her mum, a messed up relationship with her siblings. She's providing financially for all of her family, her mother, her half siblings, everyone. Everyone relies on her and then everyone tells her she has to do better. I'd be fucking pissed off too.
I'd be so pissed off. You're on I paid for your wedding, I paid for your divorce, and then you're going to come and whinge at me. And the tattoo thing was so weird. This is your adult sister that you just met and you'd get her tattooed, but you tell me that you wouldn't get me tattooed. When she said to him, like, oh, I've made you feel safe. I've made you feel a little too safe. I can make you feel unsafe. I was like, go for it, Stassi, because it's weird.
It's weird. And that, again, was her hyperbole. She's like, well, if you feel safe, I'll make you feel unsafe. This is why she needs therapy, by the way. She needs it to heal whatever happened between her and her mother, to take away the issues that she's putting on herself with her own children. It's generational and it can be fixed in therapy. But he also needs to go to therapy with her for couples therapy because he is playing into this. And this is why he's doing those things. It's like he's trying to like get back his own little bit of power over her. So I'll get my half sister's name tattooed and I'll say no to you. That is such insecure male behavior. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And like, stop holding hands with your half sister. It's weird. Why is she living with us? And Stassi even seems to quite like her. And she's like, it's not really that big of a problem. I'm like, actually, you need to set boundaries with all the extended family members.
But and see, then this is what she wants because she didn't have that.
But it's unhealthy.
Nuclear. Exactly. She needs to understand what the need is that she's feeling and what she's filling it with a level of consciousness. Okay, is her mum and sister's hair colour real?
I don't think so, but it's matching.
But why is it the same then? I'm so confused because I'm like, because the mum doesn't ever seem to have roots, but then she was wearing a hat in the second sort of time we saw her. So I'm like, maybe she does have roots. Whereas the sister kind of seemed to maybe have roots. So I was like, if it's not natural, why are you both dyeing your hair the same colour? Like, I feel like that's weird. I don't understand.
I don't know if it's weird. I mean, I don't know. It's not weird of the mum to have that colour hair because she's had it the whole time. I think it's her thing. But,
no, but why would the
daughter matching
copy it? Yes. And then I'm like, maybe it is a stunning colour. And then I was like, if Stassi comes from a line of like redheads as well, that kind of makes her make more sense too because she's kind of got redhead behaviour. So anyway. Was that wrong? Generalisation. I loved it. I suggest you binge watch it. I hope that Stassi watches it and learns and grows and we see a more evolved version of her next season. That would be my goal.
I hope so too. Now, we'll quickly touch on the OC. And I know, guys, we've been pretty hands-off with the OC, but in fairness, it's a very slow start to the season. So we're filming on a Friday morning. We haven't watched the latest episode that will come out today, but we watched last Friday's episode. And To me, there's only really one thing to talk about, and that is Tamra's box party. More boxes. We're all about the box.
More box. I actually, when I saw her putting that game together, I was like, I want to play this game with my friends. I want to know what everyone thinks about me. But then I was like, as I watched, I was like, oh, maybe not. Because, yeah, all about me. Because I was like, this would be a great way for people to give me feedback. Like, am I scary? Am I this? Am I inconsistent? You know, like all my... But then you have to give it to others, which I certainly wouldn't want to do. And so then I was like, no, this wouldn't work in real life. But I was like, this is actually quite a good game.
It was great. I mean, if I did it in real life, I know I would default to hyping up every woman there. And I don't know what that says about me, but I wouldn't, I would feel that that's genuine, right?
Same.
I will say this, in grade 12, we went to retreat and we had to do a similar exercise without the box. You had to write something about the 5 people that they'd put you in a group with. And I actually had my 2 best friends, Brooke and Anthea, there. And I found these recently when I was packing up the house to move to Tasmania. And I laughed my ass off because Anthea had written this beautiful, beautiful note to me about all the things she thought were great about me. And Brooke, my best friend Brooke, wrote, "Dear Jess, you seem like a really nice person, Brooke." And I was like, shallow thing. And it makes me laugh so much. I'm like, "Dear Jess, you seem really nice."
Which I think, like, you know, obviously she was doing to be comedic, and she is comedic. She's very funny. But it's like, so again, words of affirmation I love, and I love to give, I love to receive. And yeah, my girlfriends did it for my 40th, where they all wrote like favorite memories with me and like favorite things about me. And every time like someone said cheers or a word, they'd pause and like pull it out and read it. And then I had to sort of guess who wrote it. But it was like a whole day of people just saying like beautiful things about me and all these great memories. And they did a playlist that they like all the songs like were a special memory with me. And like as each song came on, I was like, oh my God, this is us for the... Anyway, I was like, yeah, I just want the box game, but just about me.
Yeah, I'm going to steal that for my 50th. That is the best version of the box game ever. But obviously on the OC, it was just a way to start shit. And they even failed to start much shit. I mean, Heather tried to give them a reaction because, as usual, Emily throws Heather under the bus. Heather had a conversation with Emily about Jen because Jen is making Tamra and Heather's friendship her storyline this year, inexplicably. I don't know why. And Heather had said to Emily, "Oh, I never thought Jen was obsessed with Tamra," because Tamra used to say that Jen was. She's like, "I never thought she was, but maybe," like it was a joke. And then Emily goes and repeats it to Jen as though it's serious. And Jen's like, "Oh, we know that Jen's very earnest and she takes everything literally." So she goes and gets upset. And Heather did my favorite Heather thing, which you get like usually towards the end of the season, but it's when she's talking and someone interrupts her and she goes, my turn, still talking, still me." And I'm like, yes, Heather, you fucking
love it when she lays down the law. It's like, like mother behavior. Like, I love it.
Good. I was like, oh, this is the best thing all episode. But yeah, there's not much else going on, is there? What do you think?
Yeah, not much going on. I didn't have a ton of notes, you know, pleasant to watch. But, you know, I'm just really excited for the 20-year girls road trip. Like all the content that's coming out about that. I think that's going to be fresh, fun. It's going to have all of the different ladies in it. Like I'm pumped. So yeah, I'm happy to keep watching the OC, but there's nothing like sort of groundbreaking happening. No. It's a comfort watch at this stage.
It's a good thing because honestly, the House of Stassi gave me such anxiety for her and Beau, and like even the stuff with in the Valley can be so dark that I'm like, well, maybe it's actually nice to just have a bunch of middle-aged ladies sit around and say, "You're a Debbie Downer," and then someone say, "I'm offended," and we all go, you know, like, and then just watch.
Like watching them make content for their Instagram that like I've already seen, like it's very, very, you know, but fine. Yes, comfort. And exactly, because I was so worked up about the Stassi thing. Like I just had so many feelings. Yeah, it was good to watch something that didn't send me into a frenzy.
All right. So we'll let OC continue on and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we get a few more Heather moments as time goes on, but we'll see.
We will. Okay, on to our distractions. So for me, it's been an all over the shop week, all sorts of things. I've had kids with gastro, which is hard and disgusting. And then my daughter away on camp and I missed her and it was quiet, but it was also like way less work. There was a whole bunch of things. And I think that's what gave me the time to come up with this game, which is like, surprise, Jessie. So I just want to try and play a little game with you because you know how like there's that game, marry, kill, have sex with. Well, yes. Actually, I think because Sally was playing that game on her Instagram stories or someone gave one to her and she's like, don't be cruel. I think that was the aha. Anyway, this is the game, Jessie. It's called Be Bestie Battle. And so I'm going to give you 3 reality stars. You have to decide which one you want to be, which one's going to be your bestie, and which one you're going to battle for a whole season. And it's not, you can't choose the battle just because you don't like them. I need you to tell me like what that argument would be for the storyline for the season. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love this. Did you make this up? These 3 categories?
Yes.
You are so okay. This is amazing.
Well, let's see how it goes. So bestie battle.
Be bestie battle. But I want to do it on our Instagram too and see which ones people would like choose for themselves.
Who would they choose? So I have so many, like I came up with so many sets of 3, but obviously we can't go through too many. So we'll just see how long it takes. But okay, this is the first group of 3 people.
Okay.
Janet, Michelle, Nia.
That's so hard. I would be Michelle. Shallow reasons. She's so gorgeous and I love her sparkly outfits. And I've been Michelle in the past with, difficult breakups and things. So I think probably I would be Michelle. And also she's half Persian and I'm half Lebanese. And I would be friends with you. You're mean. This is such a mean game.
Who are you friends with, Jessie?
Well, I can't be friends with Nia because she's too religious. Okay. It would come between us. So that's the reality of that situation. I would have to then be besties with Janet.
I've got that on film.
Yeah. This is like so cruel. But I would be working with Janet on the things about Janet that I do not like. And then what's the last one? Battle. I'd have to battle Nia, and the argument would be to do with the religion, the big financial religion stuff that they're part of, and the way Danny speaks to her specifically and how she thinks that's okay. And I would be very specific in the things that we're upset with Danny about. So because she keeps saying, they keep saying, well, what's happening? And, we've talked about how people won't actually say what it is. I would just really lay out what it is.
Yay! I would watch that. Well done. Okay. Next one. Lisa Barlow, Lisa Vanderpump, Lindsay Hubbard.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
I would be Lisa Vanderpump. Mm-hmm. Everyone would, right?
Maybe.
She's got it all. She's got Ken as her little hand. He loves her and adores her, and they're at that stage of life where he would do anything for her. They've got a beautiful home. She seems confident. She's funny. I would be besties with Lisa Barlow.
Ooh.
From a distance. Don't know that I'd want her ringing me up chatting for 10 hours at a time.
Hours and hours.
But I like her husband, John, and I reckon we could do double dates. And I'd battle Lindsay because even though I, as a person, am attracted to personalities like Lindsay in friendships, I love big personalities, but I think she would cross lines for me that I would then have to fight her on. Like the whole, every single mother's going to hate you, Whitney. My sense of justice would make me step in there and say, stop, that is not okay. It's not true, da-da-da-da-da. So I think that's where that would go.
And you're brave because I was like, I would not want to battle Lisa Vanderpump and I would not want to battle Lindsay. I think I would have to battle Lisa because I know she's like cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, but I think I could do that. Anyway, but yes, you're brave. So that was not where I saw that going. Okay, last one. Oh, I've got so many more. Okay, wait. I'm going to do Mary Cosby, Ramona Singer, and Lisa Rinna.
No, these are all awful.
Mary, Ramona, Lisa.
You answer it first.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Your turn. Okay. I would be Mary Cosby because I would I'd love to live in Salt Lake and all of that. That would be fascinating. I wouldn't mind a whole church of followers. That would be okay. I would make sure that I was using the funds wisely. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I would be far out. Imagine being friends with either Ramona or Lisa. I would be friends with Lisa, maybe just to get tickets to her daughter's fashion shows or something. I'd try and make that worthwhile, but I don't know. So I'd be Mary, I'd be friends with Lisa, I'd be fighting with Ramona, and I would be fighting with Ramona about her Trumpity-Trump ways, and they would be trying to educate her, which is really funny because Mary's one of the most internally racist people ever. So she has internalized racism and doesn't know it. So she would probably I don't know if she could educate Ramona at all. Okay, that was hard. That was harder than I thought it would be.
Right? It's so hard because there's so many factors. Like, even as you're saying you use your church funds wisely, I'm like, yeah, but you have to be married to your step granddad. Like, so there's so many things. And then I was like, I've always thought I would probably choose Ramona to be my bestie, which might surprise everyone.
Oh, you could go stay at the Hamptons house.
Well, here's the thing. If you can put aside the Trumpy Trump conservative nature of it, which honestly, Mary has that problem too. Ramona at least is fun. Ramona, yeah, she actually for most of the New York's run, even though she says horrific political things, she's not very educated in that regard, but she's actually always down for a good time. So in a bestie, I think that that's important. And I would hope that I could maybe mold some of her less charitable opinions over time. She has 60 best girlfriends, according to her.
You get to go to that blonde lunch with all the blondes having lunch.
I know. And I'd be like, I'm the special like brunette and like I'd be exotic to them. I just always thought like when she's not throwing a wine glass at you, she's like always down for a good time. And like even times where she has had a bad time and left, I agree with her. Like once she went to this house and there's no air conditioning and she was menopausal, she's like, I got to get out of here. Like this is too fucking hot. And I'm like, I feel you. I think I'd have to be Lisa Rinna purely because she's Democratic, even though she's so problematic with her daughters and her disordered eating and she lives in a house with rats. I'm not keen on that. And then I'd probably have to battle Mary on the religion again. So
there we go. So speaking of distractions, Winnie is literally distracting me right now. I don't know if he wants to get up. Winnie, do you want to come up? Come here.
Let's show everyone Winnie because he's so precious. You're lifting it up like he's put on weight. You're like, oh.
It's just that I'm very close to the table. Hello, Winnie. He's climbing up. He's, yes, anyway, he's getting way cheekier with letting me know what he needs. Okie dokie. What distracted you this week, Jessie?
Well, I'm very distracted seeing you having a dog on your lap. I never thought I'd see the day. And
neither did I. Hello.
Gorgeous. You're just soulmates and he adores you. What distracted me this week? So we've been doing a lot of book tour planning this week. So my second book, The Burn, is coming out at the end of the month. And they've given, like my publishers organise a tour throughout Victoria and New South Wales and a little bit in Tasmania, which I know has upset all of the Queensland folk, but I just can't do it all. And also I don't get to choose. Okay. So it's like not actually my choice. Well, no, that's a lie. They did say, did I want to go to Sydney or Brisbane? And I said, Sydney. I'm sorry, Brisbane.
That's okay. We got a tour last time. Yeah. But also, let's never say never. I mean, 10 stops. Isn't there 10 stops? That's huge, Jessie. But also, like, it doesn't mean just because you're not doing it right now, it doesn't mean you might not do it a bit later or, you know, I think, you know, it'll keep us wanting more.
Exactly. I'm just being, you guys will then just desperately yearn for me, which obviously is what I want. But no, and I'm also going to Perth in November. The incredible author Tess Woods invited me to her Festival of Fiction. Like, so I can still be invited places. Brisbane, you can invite me. It's just that I can't do it for free, essentially, because all of these, the other thing is I think people don't realize I'm doing 10 events and I don't get paid for those. That's all on my time. It's not as though that's a money earner for me. The thing is, I love doing them. Like you have to turn me away.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And I love talking to readers, but also like even when I'm signing books, my publicist is like, you need to speed this up. And I'm like, I simply can't. I want to talk to everyone. I want to hear everyone's like opinions and lives. And so I love doing them, but they are a lot. So, and even organizing it has been a lot, but I'm starting to get very excited and just very distracted. And I know that we are planning our outfits for Hayu FanFest, but I am so excited to plan all my outfits for book tour because guys, you have to understand.
That's fun.
Yes, I was a corporate girly for so long. If you had said you're going to get to do book tours and like plan your outfits, my whole brain would have exploded. It's such a girly dream come true. And I'm like, oh my God, I can theme dress with the color of my cover. I ordered like a ready orange Karen Millen dress yesterday. Like it is so fun. And it's been really hard to concentrate on writing my third manuscript because I'm like, outfits, tour.
Gosh, I did not even think I'm so excited working out one outfit for Hayu FanFest. Whereas, yes, you get to do all of these like 10 different, oh my gosh, that's amazing. This is why you need to also get on Depop because like you can buy things and then you can resell them, particularly if you're you don't have to wear a different outfit to everyone. But say, for example, if you wanted to, then you could buy outfits and then they call it repopping, and then it relists it sort of for you and you repop it and then you can send it on.
Which is fantastic. And actually, I love that idea because it's more sustainable too. And I'm not buying new things. I'm like participating in the recirculation economy, which actually, so yes, I'm going to make a Depop account. I think that's a brilliant idea because obviously I'll have a book come out next year and I'll do a tour for that too. And it was just so exciting. So I've been really distracted and I've been trying to work on my other book. I did look up weather from last week, if you can have a shower while there's storm and lightning. Yes, you can. It depends on the piping in your house. That's the problem. I think it's to do with if lightning strikes and hits like a metal pipe and it's connected, that was always, and you could get electrocuted. That was always the problem.
So it comes through, yes, hits the house and then what? Electrocutes the pipe and the shower head and therefore the water that's hitting you.
I think so. But like to me, that seems really rare. And then the thing about the phone is you can be on your mobile phone. It's fine because, again, the problem was with the rotary phone being connected, like having the cord and the electrics in the house and if it got hit. So that was, again, seems rare. But
I think we're off the hook from the phone thing, fine, no worries. But I'm feeling though, if your house did get hit by lightning, if that means you could get electrocuted in the shower specifically, I think that's not a great idea. I think for me, it's still like if there's a close storm with lightning, don't have a shower. Because my shower heads are metal.
Yeah, I think err on the side of caution. I mean, it's probably more a risk for me. I'm in a 100-year-old house, right? So I think probably modern houses are maybe like have thought of this.
Like circuit breakers.
Yeah, but also like maybe just err on the side of caution. And like it's not really fun to have a shower during a thunderstorm anyway, is it?
No,
so
go sit outside on the veranda and watch the storm. That's the thing to be doing. And smell it. God, I love the smell of a storm. I just love it. I can smell it coming. Oh, love it.
You know, that's so, to me, that smell is so specific to Queensland because you get those tropical summer storms. I remember we used to stand on the balcony in Brisbane and it'd be dark green, the clouds, and they'd come to, and the smell was amazing. Like here when it rains, it's nice, but it's not like that. The smell isn't.
It's magic. I didn't know it was special to us. That's nice to know.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Jessie. I think you've been quite distracted and rightly so. Okay, so let's move on to our recommendations. I'll be pretty quick. I'm going to recommend two things. One is super random because so have you heard of the clothing brand Hoss?
Hoss.
Hoss. No. Okay, so neither had I. But because I had been researching all sorts of different dresses and outfits for Hayu FanFest, now they're feeding me all these brands. Anyway, this brand came up. I've not purchased anything from them. But, okay, so when I took 100 days off social media at the start of the year. I really tried to learn to sew and I made 3 dresses. And so I'm wearing one of them today. So you can see this dress. Actually, I saw the whole look on Pinterest and I was like, I can make that dress. And then I bought this top off Depop for $10 because I needed like a fancy frill top. Yeah, I know. And it's so pretty. Anyway, so the 3 dresses I made one that was velvet, I made one that was brocade, and then I made one out of upholstery. I wanted an upholstery dress. And so lots of people have asked like, oh, you know, blah, blah. I was like, well, I can't make dresses for other people. Like you should see the inside of it. Like I'm crap. And then this Hoss popped up. Anyway, I have not purchased for them. It would definitely be like a splurge, but I love texture. And they've just got these dresses and outfits that are brocade, velvet, like all of it. And it's an Australian brand made in Melbourne. They even have super cute shoes. Like, anyway, I have not purchased anything from them yet, but Hoss, I can't stop thinking about it. So that's one recommendation. And then my second one is a daily podcast called The Solo Bureau. So people might remember Claire Murphy. She used to work at Mamma Mia and did a daily podcast. Now she's doing one on her own and it is so good. So Winnie and I go for a walk. Don't we, Winnie? Sitting right here. Winnie and I go for a walk every morning and, you know, different lengths of time. But this is just like the little podcast in your ear that tells you what's happening around Australia, around the world. So usually it starts with like a 10-minute segment just of all the news headlines. And then each day for like a second sort of 10 minutes, it's optional if you keep listening. But like on a Friday, she does a whip around Australia. So all the things that have happened in the major states. And then each other day, she might just do like a special little interview with someone on a topic of interest or something that's pertinent in the world at the moment. So I just wanted to give a recommendation because it's really become a part of our daily routine. And I think that she's doing, really great work. And you would love it, Jessie, because it's completely AI free, anti-AI, all of those things. So she's a super ethical reporter. In fact, actually, she talked about one of her episodes this week. She was doing research and who's that seal in Tassie that everyone loves? Neil the seal. So she said she put into a AI thing. She had done all her own research and she wanted to compare what it came up with. And AI came and called it like Neil. It was the wrong animal. It was like Neil the possum, I think. And she was like, so you could just see the absolute inaccuracies that would happen if you were using AI. So yeah, I think everyone would love it.
I would like her. Listen, I listened to one of her early episodes when she was made redundant from Mamma Mia, and it seemed so strange that they did that, but obviously they've done some reorganizing since. And I signed up for her podcast, and so I get the episodes, but I've been so naughty. I keep listening to Watch What Crappens, which is my reality podcast, and I keep going, Jessica, you've got to listen to the Solo Bureau because it's a really good way to stay up to date without the sensationalism and with a proper news reporter's like overlay of what's going on. So I agree. It sounds good. And also Neil the Seal has also distracted me a lot because, well, I tell you might break your heart, but like he's alone. And the reason he keeps coming and breaching onto the southern Tasmania land, like near Hobart and stuff, and the reason he's like bashing around, he's an elephant seal. And I read somewhere, and we should probably say, check this for yourself in case I've got it wrong, but he like bashes into things because like culturally, he's meant to have other elephant seals to bash into.
Yeah.
He doesn't because he's been left behind by his pod or whatever happened when he was a baby. And so it just breaks my heart. And also, he's got to get so much bigger too.
Is he?
Yes. He's not fully grown. And so they're like trying to work out. But like, obviously, like there was this whole debate on social media. It's like he's causing all this like...
damage and costs and the police officers and
yes, and for the council, and they've got to have people like to make sure he's okay. But then he's bringing in so many tourism dollars because people have been flying to Hobart literally just to stand 40 meters away from him on a beach and stare at Neil the Seal, which can I just say I love.
How good is that? How good is that?
Something about Australians where they're like, you know what? This is different. This is unusual. I'm actually going to go and check that out. It's just a giant elephant seal, but we have, as a nation, imprinted on him. We want the best for him. Yeah. People want to see him. And there's something...
He's our latest hyperfixation. Like, as a nationality, we have, like, ADHD and we get hyperfixated on certain things.
But you know what? I think it's telling what we've hyperfixated on this time to bring it back into a circle with the lack of AI with Claire and her podcast, which is great. People don't actually want AI. I know millions of you are out there talking to your chat GPTs for some reason and doing this and doing that. But at the end of the day, we want to see nature. It is innately human to want to go and see Neil and to see what happens and to be part of the physical earth and world and animals around us. These creatures are all sentient, and deep down we all know that. It's the only reason why people are flying in to see
I know. It is that X factor of that just feels so good and right and real. If you wanted to go see Neil, how far away from you is he?
Oh, probably 2.5 hours. I could drive down there, but elephant seals are very large, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable. Like, I even get nervous whale watching. So, like, when you're on a boat whale watching, I get very nervous if the boat isn't, like, the 100 meters away because I'm scared that the whale will get too close. He might flip the boat or something. So, like, I'm nervous around very large animals. I love them, but I don't know that I need to be close to them. Yeah. You want me to go on a recce to see Neil?
I wouldn't mind. Okay, but also, but if you're scared, don't yes, I have troubles understanding consequences. I would just do it. And then I'd be like that guy getting bucked by that moose in Canada. All of a sudden I'd be in the air and be like, oops. So yeah, don't take my advice.
This is the thing. Well, I am doing a book event. This is also very exciting in Hobart on the 16th of September with none other than the heir apparent's Rebecca Armitage. Have I told you?
I saw it online, of course, and Rebecca shared it. Yes. And I want to come. I know. So is that what we're saying? I could come down and see Rebecca and you and then maybe visit Neil the Seal?
Yes, exactly. So it's like a 3-for-1. And this has all come about because Sophie and I were fangirling Rebecca Armitage, and I just decided, I was like, we've never met, but we're going to be friends because I've moved to Tasmania. So she's so kind to do this event with me. And yes, we could all come and then I was thinking we could impose upon Rebecca and her in-laws and go to their family vineyard and then get all of the tea together. And then the next morning we could get up and maybe go on a little hunt for Neil the seal.
Did they have a vineyard? Is that where she got all that vineyard info in the book?
I think so.
That's amazing. Okay, let's discuss.
So, yes. Oh, but that's not my recommendation. I've just been distracted.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is this amazing show. It's been out for 4 or 5 years. And actually, when I was writing The Farm, I watched a lot of it because it's called Couples Therapy. The original one is the American one. And I do think it's the best because the therapist on it, Dr. Orna, is amazing. She's just the brainiest relationship expert of all time. She's a trained Freudian psychotherapist. Now, what it is they find maybe 5 couples in New York.
Oh, so it's American. I was wondering whether it was, yeah, okay, it's American.
It's American. It's on SBS. The American one is the best. They've got other ones now. They've got a New Zealand or an Australian or a UK version. Don't bother with those, in my opinion. This one is really, really good because of her. And so they get 5 couples that have really serious issues. And over 8 or 10 episodes, we see her doing couples therapy with them. It is completely unsensationalized. It is her and the 2 people in an office talking. She has a cute little dog as well. And when they arrive, it's fascinating because I always say to Charlie every time, I'm like, oh, they all just need to break up. This is disastrous. They will never come back from this. And then about half of them do. And it's always the ones that are open to be changed by what they hear and what they... And you see it. Some of them, when they walk out, they go, whoa, they're caught in patterns they didn't even realize were happening, that they didn't realize came from their upbringing or their parents or...
Oh my God, we need to get Stassi and Beau connected with this lady. Full circle.
Yes, because honestly, they would have a chance of coming back from their problems. I've seen much worse couples do it, and it is the most fascinating show. You've got to watch it and tell me what you think.
I will watch it. Can I ask you what incentivizes these couples to allow this to be filmed? It must be so personal.
It is so personal. It's because she is so expensive. She is such an incredible therapist in New York. They would never get access to her otherwise.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I'm why would you, right? Because then it's you would question the legitimacy of it because are you just here to get famous? Okay, so this is it. It's just literally to get access to her. Her reputation is so good.
Yes, and they're not getting famous from it either. There's a little bit of stuff on Reddit talking about the couples, but it's really not. It's not about that. It is so it's really desensationalized. And she has this beautiful way of I've noticed so we're up to season 5, which Charlie's oh, season 5 of Couples Series on, do you want to watch it? And I was like, yes. And they're the most complex couples yet. And I'm just in awe of her. But she does this beautiful thing where they'll come and they're just both rah, rah, rah at her. You see these couples that just cannot listen to each other, do not let each other talk. And she's just looking between them and she kind of gets them both to stop. And then she said, I'm going to go with this person first, say something, and they'll say something. And then she says, can you say more? And that's what she does. And then they say more. And then it's just, I'm what an incredible technique. If you're in conflict with someone or you're talking to your husband, you don't quite understand them or anything like that, instead of bringing all your own shit to it, you can actually just say, okay, can you say more to help me understand? Just say more. Most people will always want to say more.
Of course. And also, if you don't understand, keep asking questions until you do and don't just assume. That's okay. So should I start with the season 5 or should I go back to the start?
That's almost an impossible question. I don't know, because season 5 I'm finding so compelling. But I found all of them compelling at the time. I reckon start with season 5. Give it a go because it is full on. Also, she wears really sculptural jewelry and she's so cool.
Have you imprinted on her, Jessie?
I don't know if I've imprinted on her because, there's other things going on in her life. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I will give it a watch. I have loved your recommendation so far. And the fact this has multi-seasons, tick, tick, tick.
I promise. It has multiple seasons. I promise.
Perfect. Yay. All right. Well, this has been fun. I love having my Sunday lunch with you every week, Jessie. I can't believe that this time next week we will be in Sydney, having just been at FanFest when you're all listening to the next week's episode. So it's all happening. It's all exciting.
I know, you guys. There's going to be so much content. You'll be sick of us. Just kidding. How could you be?
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye now.
Love you, bye.
This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Yagara, Turrbal and Lutruwita peoples. Wait, are you still there?
We know you're still there. And while you're still listening, we have a quick request to ask you guys if you could please like and subscribe us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we'd also love a 5-star review rating if you have enjoyed what you've listened to today. And follow us on Instagram at Sunday Lunch Reality Served.
We would absolutely love that. And remember, this is just for fun. We have no special knowledge. This is just what we're watching on telly with the rest of you. And by the way, I'm Sophia.makes on Instagram.
And I'm Jessica Mansour-Nahra, author, on Instagram.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Bye.